Good evening, Del Mar families. Welcome to the freshman parent orientation component of Back to School Night. Our goal this evening is to introduce you to high school and also to show you how you can best support your student over the next few years. Our agenda for this evening is to introduce you to the counseling staff and administration team. We also would like to show you some of our parent organizations on campus and take a look at our new technology updates. Lastly, we would like to cover graduation requirements and provide you with some tips for success for incoming freshmen. Del Mar has 3 dedicated counselors who split up the nearly 1,400 students on campus. We split the students up by last name. As you can see, Ms. Geis has students with last names A through GI. Ms. Baez has students with last names GO through O. And Mr. Mendoza has students last names P through Z. Guidance counselors oversee students' class selections and class schedules, as well as their transcripts, their progress towards high school graduation, as well as their progress through college eligibility. Next up, we have our administration team. Del Mar is led by our principal, Mr. Larry Lopez. Our 3 assistant principals are Mr. Juan Gonzalez, Miss Diana Nguyen, and Miss Lindsay Schubert, and they oversee testing, attendance, campus safety, and discipline. They too, like guidance counselors, also work mainly with students within their alphabet. Moving on down, you'll see our IB program coordinator, Miss Jessica Lamet, followed by our English learner coordinator, Miss Laura Hallinan, our activities director, Miss Courtney Shembry, and our athletic director, Mr. Ryan Castaneda. You can reach any member of our administration team by calling the school office or by directly emailing them. Del Mar is also home to many parent organizations. These groups are often the main drivers of team and/or program fundraising and play an important role in student activities. As you know, many successful school programs have a strong backing of caring parents who step up to give a little extra, whether it's in the form of a monetary donation or just their time. Every bit helps. As you know, a student's educational experience goes far beyond the classroom. We here at Del Mar recognize this and encourage you to consider taking an active role in one of these parent groups at some point in your student's time here at Del Mar. Here we have 5 core parent groups, which are Padres Unidos, PTSA, Performing Arts, the Dons Club, and our IB parent organization. To learn more about these groups, please visit our website and click on Parents and Community. If you have any questions, please contact Ms. Shembry or Ms. Blanca Diaz, our community liaison. Moving to technology updates and Chromebooks. As you probably already know, all Del Mar students receive their own Chromebook. All computers come with a Google Suite, which has all the necessary tools that they'll need for distance learning, such as their own school Gmail account, calendar, Google Drive, and access to Google Sheets, Docs, slides, etc. Please ensure that your student takes good care of their Chromebook and charges it every day. Just another tip, just note that the electricity is often cheaper later at night or early in the morning, so those will be the times when you can save money on your electric bill. If you happen to need any support during distance learning for your Chromebook or need internet connection, please reach out to our district hotline at 408-558-3080. This line is staffed Monday through Friday during the working hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Once you have your technology needs all taken care of, now you're ready for freshman success. Here at Del Mar, we believe in the 3 pillars of freshman success, which are attendance, academics, and connections. Why, you may ask? Because we know that to be successful, you need to show up and you need to be in class on a consistent basis. During distance learning, we highly recommend that you get up and start your day like you need to be here on campus. Get up, get ready, eat breakfast, and show up early for class, and good things will follow. Next is academics. You have to do the work. It won't always be easy, but we believe in no pain, no gain. Without a doubt, there will be times where you will struggle with material. It may be math for some, it may be writing that research paper for other students. Everything is not always going to come easy. This is what you will experience in college or what you may see at work someday. So our job is to prepare you for moments like these because they are sure to come. However, here at Del Mar, we have the necessary support to help you in times of need. Lastly, school is about building connections. High school is the bridge between middle school and college. Or for some, it may be the bridge between middle school and a career. When you think about it like this, you're going to need some help along the way to help you get to where you want to go. So this means that while you're here, you're going to have to build relationships with teachers, staff members, coaches, administrators, etc. The easiest way to do this is to get involved. Now, I know that it is a little hard to do this right now, given that students aren't allowed on campus. However, you can still reach out to people when you have questions. You have teachers that you're seeing a few times a week. So interact, participate, and engage with them. At some point, we're going to come back and it will be easier to continue building relationships here on campus. Just remember, distance learning is only temporary. Here you see our distance learning schedule. Please note that most students with 6 classes are in class from 9 a.m. to 2:10 p.m. 4 days a week. Every Monday, students have their second, third, and fourth period classes, while Tuesdays and Fridays, they have their fifth, sixth, and seventh period classes. Students with a first period most likely have 7 classes, and they start school earlier on Mondays and Thursdays at 7:40 a.m. twice per week. Wednesdays are reserved for advisory class, also known as teacher outreach. This will take place usually from 10:10 to 10:40 a.m. However, teachers have been given the leeway here to break up their students into pods so that they can check in with them in smaller groups. Either way, all students will have their advisory class at some point on Wednesday morning, usually before lunch. When not in advisory, students are free to work on assignments with friends, study groups, seek help from teachers, or make appointments with their guidance counselors. Moving on to attendance. Distance learning has brought about some changes, and one of the more significant changes schools have seen is in the area of attendance. So what counts as attendance? Well, there's 4 ways to mark a student present. 1, same-day attendance in live online class. 2, same-day evidence of participation in an online activity. 3, same-day completion and submission of an assignment by 11:59 p.m. 4, same-day communication between student and teacher or teacher and parent. So the bottom line is this: asynchronous participation counts for attendance, but daily attendance in live online classes each day is very important. Students miss out on important learning and collaboration when they are not in class. Also, please keep in mind that these are the current policies put out by the state of California. If any future changes occur to the attendance policy, we'll make sure to notify you. One last note. Do understand that if your student has to miss class because they're sick or have an appointment, parents or guardians must call in absences by calling our attendance line shown here. The Del Mar website also has a few resources online. Please refer to our website under the Student Services tab for more information. Again, strong attendance is required to pass classes, and passing classes leads to graduation. Speaking of graduation, here is our district's graduation requirements in the column to the right. Some of you may recall that recently our district adjusted our graduation requirements to reflect those of our state's CSU and UC college entrance requirements as shown on the left side. Here you can compare the two. As you can see, they are very similar to one another. However, in order to meet the graduation requirements, students must also take a few extra courses, such as 2 years of PE or ROTC, 1 year of a career technical education elective class, or choose another year of visual performing arts class, and also take 2 more electives that can come from any category you see above. In all, students must earn 220 credits by the end of their senior year in order to earn a diploma and participate in our graduation ceremony. Moving on to grades. Keep in mind that sometimes rumors will swirl amongst freshmen saying freshman year doesn't count. Well, let me stop you right there because all grades count, including freshman year. Semester grades will be part of your records, and your records may be viewed by colleges, a future employer, or a military recruiter for those interested in joining the service. Thus, you need to always give it your best, no matter what, because it's a reflection of you. With that, keep in mind that we are now back to letter grades this year, compared to last spring where many schools moved to a pass, no pass system. Grades can actually be monitored by School Loop. Yes, I know, not another platform I need to monitor or another password I'm going to forget. Well, we're in our last year of using this program, but more to come on this later in the presentation. What about homework? This is somewhat of a challenging question. Traditionally, students are given time in class to work on class assignments, and what they don't finish needs to be completed at home. However, given that we're in distance learning, many teachers have turned to projects. Needless to say, students should be studying every night, and this includes reviewing notes from lectures or class discussions that day and/or reading their textbooks. Just remember that in high school, you're not going to get a lot of busy work. Everything you do here is all geared toward you being able to show mastery of knowledge and/or the skills that teachers are trying to teach. One of the biggest differences in making the jump from 8th to 9th grade is the semester system. Most of our feeder middle schools come from a trimester system. Here at Del Mar, we run on a semester system, which means we have 2 main grading periods, fall and spring, and not the 3 trimesters like students may be accustomed to. Fall grades end in December, and spring grades end in June. Students earn credits during these final grading periods. If a student earns a D or higher, credit will be granted as having passed that particular class. However, if your student is planning on going to college, then they must earn at least a C because universities do not accept Fs or Ds. Leading up to the final semester grades, we break down the semesters into 6-week increments where we issue 6 and 12-week progress reports. While progress reports are not official grades, they are used by athletics for eligibility purposes. If a student does not maintain at least a 2.0 GPA, they will not be eligible to participate in athletic contests until the next grading period. If you do see a grade of an F or a D or any other grade that alarms you, feel free to further examine it in School Loop by looking at the teacher's gradebook and marks on recent assignments. Also, please keep in mind that counselors review this information with all freshmen in November. This is done in preparation for selection of sophomore classes. Over the coming years, your students will see us again for fall visits, where we distribute student transcripts and college eligibility updates each year to all students so that they can keep track of their progress.
One of the biggest differences between middle school and high school is that in high school, students must earn enough credits to graduate, and this starts in the freshman year. Every class at Del Mar is worth 10 credits for the full school year and 5 credits per semester. Generally, students will take 6 classes in their freshman year, and they should earn at least 60 credits at the end of their freshman year. Students do have the option to take up to 7 classes every year, but this is not required. Some students will do this because they're a part of a special program such as AVID or ROTC all 4 years and need the extra space in their schedule, and some students want to take more than 1 elective at a time. In order to graduate, students must complete all subject requirements to earn a minimum of 220 credits. This must be done in order to receive their diploma and walk at the graduation ceremony. In the 2020-2021 school year, all schools in Campbell Union High School District will return to issuing letter grades using A through F marks. Del Mar as a site will continue to use Google Classroom to post assignments and School Loop to issue final marks. Both students and parents should create a School Loop account in order to monitor grades. We recommend that students and parents check School Loop frequently, if not every day, to make sure that they're up to date on their grades and how they're doing in classes. It's super important for students to stay on top of their work, especially coming in as a freshman because high school is so different from middle school. One opportunity for students to stay connected and check on their grades frequently is during teacher outreach or advisory. This class shows up as period 8 in a student's schedule and meets once per week for 30 minutes on Wednesdays. Although students do not receive a grade for advisory, attendance is required and crucial in order for students to access the resources and important information that is provided during this time. In most cases, students have one of their current teachers for advisory, but this is not the case for all of our students. A small number will have a teacher that is not on their schedule, but will still act as a positive resource and adult connection for them to have on campus every week. There will not be homework issued for advisory, but students will have access to activities and resources in college and career research, social and emotional support, and Del Mar information through the advisory Google Classroom. You can think of advisory like a homeroom period. Students will do community building activities, build social connections, get access to resources and help, and have a home base during distance learning. Tonight, you'll have the opportunity to meet your student's outreach advisory teacher. Another opportunity for students at Del Mar is our International Baccalaureate or IB program. Many parents and students are familiar with advanced placement and AP courses, and Del Mar does still have a few of those courses left in order to provide enough variety for our students. We are a full IB diploma program school, which is open access to all of our students. There are some prerequisites and minimum grade requirements to ensure students are successful in these advanced courses, but students do not need to make a decision about whether or not to participate until halfway through their sophomore year. Ms. Alamet is our IB coordinator, and she is open to creating 4-year plans with students. She can be reached at the email on this slide. We think of International Baccalaureate classes in the program itself as really providing a well-rounded education for our students. They will be challenged in rigorous coursework, but they're also going to see connections between the courses that they're taking and between disciplines. And we find that this provides an excellent preparation for students no matter what they choose to do after high school. Del Mar is super lucky and fortunate to have our new College and Career Center specialist, Ms. Chastity Knight. She works with all students in grades 9 through 12. She has her own office hours set up. She can be reached at the email below and at the phone extension you see here. Ms. Knight has already been busy in the College and Career Center providing information and programs for our students. She's open to meeting with both students and parents to discuss any of their career aspirations after high school, to start building their resume, to do letter writing workshops, look for jobs and internships, financial aid, and much more. She provides a weekly newsletter to students with updates on upcoming workshops, important information, and opportunities for students to continue to explore. There's a lot of other support that is available for students that we want to make sure our freshman parents know about. In terms of academic support, all teachers are posting their office hours, and they can be contacted through our Del Mar website. We encourage students to see their teachers early and often for help, and office hours is a great way to do this. Students can set up a one-on-one appointment with their teacher in order to ask questions, get extra help with their homework or assignments, and just to connect on how they're doing in their classes. Del Mar will also be hosting a homework center. Especially for this virtual environment, we want to make sure that students have access to help, and more information on that is coming in September. Counselors will also have office hours to be available to our students. They can sign up for individual appointments with us throughout the school year to discuss their academics, social emotional help, and any other questions that they might have about high school. Our district is also fortunate to partner with our CASI counselors. We have 2 full-time CASI counselors that provide individual and groups counseling sessions for our students. They also are available to provide outside resources. If you're interested in having your student receive weekly counseling sessions, please contact their Del Mar counselor for more information on the referral process. Services are free to students, and confidential services are provided. We get a lot of questions from parents, especially now in the distance learning environment, on how they can support their student. High school is a huge transition, and there are a lot of questions, especially as we're not able to be together quite yet. One of the biggest things that we recommend as counselors is to check in with your student using open-ended questions. Sometimes if you ask, did you have a good day today? You get a yes or a no or fine, And then that's the end of the discussion. As much as you can, ask your students what was challenging for them today. What was the most fun part of their day? What are the things that they're learning to get them to open up a little bit? Engaging with the communication that we put out together as a family is also a really good thing to do, especially in the freshman year. Looking at School Loop together or reading our weekly newsletters together, checking your remind messages together can really provide that foundation so that you and your student are talking about how school is going together and updating each other rather than having separate sources of information. You can also encourage your student to get involved. This is a little more challenging in the distance learning environment, but Del Mar is working hard to provide those opportunities to our students. During the teacher outreach advisory sessions every week, there are a lot of community building activities that teachers are building into it so students can get to know each other. But our ASB students are looking to put together activities, competitions, and fundraisers. Our clubs are looking at doing virtual meetings and recruiting for this year. Our sports are also looking at ways that they can continue to practice and train in preparation for seasons and any other activities that we're able to put together as a school. If you have questions or concerns, tonight is a great opportunity to get to meet the teachers that your students will have for the year, but they're also open to meet and discuss issues with parents as well. And we encourage you to reach out to them directly with any questions or concerns that you have. We have a number of parent groups that you will get to meet tonight. We encourage our parents to get involved as much as possible. It definitely helps to build that connection to school and to let your students know that you're able to support them. We have a number of organizations that are always looking for parents if that's something that you're interested in or able to do, and you'll hear more from them tonight. Even though we are just starting freshman year, counselors will be meeting with their freshman students to start to develop their 4-year plan of classes that they would like to take. We want to make sure that our students know the courses that are available to them and to look ahead to make sure that they're meeting all their graduation and college requirements. As much as you can, get involved with your student in this process so that you can see what their interests are and where they're planning to go with their coursework at Del Mar. There's a lot coming up in the next 4 years of high school, and it tends to go pretty quickly. We'd like to give kind of an overview of what parents can expect for their children starting in the 9th grade. Adjusting to high school is a big task, especially in the distance learning environment. As students are getting used to their study habits, keeping track of their calendar, logging on to other classes, and meeting other students, we're also having them look ahead to create their 4-year plan. In the 10th grade, our students generally take the PSAT or the practice SAT. We encourage students to also get involved on campus as much as possible and think about potential IB or international baccalaureate courses that they might like to take. 11th grade is really a big year for college research, students starting to think about what career or major they might be interested in, and spending a lot of time in the College and Career Center or reaching out to Miss Knight. In the 12th grade, students are looking to apply to college or plan for their career after high school and filling out financial aid applications. And the counselors are here to support students every step of the way. We know that we covered a lot tonight, but that there are always going to be questions. We want to make sure that students and parents have the opportunity to ask. So if you do have questions after tonight's event, please email your student's guidance counselor. We're going to be putting together a list of general frequently asked questions that we can publish in next week's newsletter that's going out to families. So please feel free to reach out to us.